Here again with another Lucifer Season 5 episode review video. Before I get into that though, pretty important, if you are caught up to the point where I am in rewatching or watching Lucifer, or you're just not entirely sure, then you definitely need to take the initiative and pay attention to the episode's title, which of course I'll mention, as well as put in the description. If that happens to be the case, you found out that you're not caught up, then of course it would be my recommendation that you don't watch this video any further to avoid any potential spoilers. And as many of you already know, this is indeed my first time watching the show Lucifer, so join me on the journey and let's discuss the show in the comment section, along with the legendary Crazy Coffee Man, who's a Lucifer fanatic, as well as a Dexter and Breaking Bad fan. With all that said, this will be Lucifer Season 5, Episode 11. The title of this episode is called Resting Devilface. And this will be my review reaction recap after just finishing watching the episode. So Amenadiel's ready and he won't back down as Believer plays in the background. Amenadiel and Lucifer are going to team up to get Dad back to heaven. And it turns out Dad, God, Father, whatever you want to call him, is making himself useful by being a plumber behind the bar. Now Amenadiel asks Dad about his powers acting up. Lucifer says he doesn't need Dad's help. Take a rest, please. Amenadiel's proved to be useless. Turns out Trixie stole Chloe's handcuffs, and she cuffed a bad guy or a bad kid, and Trixie's been suspended because of this. Now, Trixie's going to Linda's place so Linda can babysit her, and Linda says this will be fun. Chloe's late, and Lucifer's surprised. You're never late. Chloe says that she's dealing with some family stuff. Dan apologizes to God for sleeping with Charlotte Richards. He has to understand that Charlotte was not Goddess. Goddess went into Charlotte's body, so he needs to drop the guilt about that. And then God actually explodes Dan when shaking his hand. But, of course, he reverses it as my eye all of a sudden itches. I'm not sure why, but it is. And then Father, for the first time, may have actually listened to Lucifer. Crime scene time. Ella says no track marks. Ella says this was totally a murder. The victim was a fighter named Albert Walcott, and Chloe doesn't know who that is, and apparently this guy is some big fighter. I've never heard of him because it's a fictional world. And Ella said that she thought he would make a comeback, but instead he got TKO'd himself. God is at the crime scene and says his presence won't bother anyone because he made himself human. Your old man is a regular dude, is what God tells Lucifer. And then God says to Lucifer that Lucifer was right. God tells Chloe he made himself human. Isn't that exciting? Not really. Miss Lopez, this is my father. And then there's a hug for God. And God now has brain freeze as he was drinking like a slushie way too fast. Father has to go to the bathroom now, and he needs help doing that. Dan's worried about being tortured for all eternity due to the fact that he slept with God's wife, but he didn't really sleep with God's wife. It was God's wife in somebody else's vessel, essentially. And then Dan asks Maze, what is hell like? And Maze tells him at least he has a soul, unlike her. And then it's Catherine Dent, who plays Danny on The Shield. She was a doctor for Albert, now I forgot the character's name, Walcott. Her name is Dr. Proctor, I believe. I don't have it written right here, but I know it's later in the episode that I actually write it down. And the drug that was in Albert's system is rare, and only one person could have had it, or could have got this drug to them, and that would be the Colonel. Dan's worried if they should send Lucifer in alone to meet with the Colonel, and Chloe says, well, Lucifer is invincible now, so what could go wrong? Well, anything can go wrong at any point in time. And then we see that God has made his way onto this plane with Lucifer and the Colonel. And the Colonel looks like somebody that's really familiar, but I looked at her filmography on IMDb and couldn't find anything that I recognize, so I don't know. And then Dan suggests that Trixie might be going to hell. And another thing about Trixie, we're seeing Trixie again. Like, that's good. But it seems like Ella Lopez and Trixie are like related. They look similar. They have similar mannerisms sometimes. I don't know. Probably not, but they look similar. I don't know if Trixie can dance like Ella can dance, but anyway, he thinks that Trixie might be going to hell. He wants to nudge her in the right direction before it's too late, so he wants to take and send Trixie off to private school, essentially. And then Chloe tells Dan that he's a great dad to try to pump him up a bit. Trixie tells Linda that she can't trick her into telling her about her feelings. And then Trixie asks Linda about curing denial. Colonel O'Brien, that's the colonel, tells Lucifer that she's a trailblazer. And God blurts out that they're on a sting. So Colonel O'Brien draws her weapon on Lucifer. And then, all right, Dad, time to get your powers back. God up. He can at this time. And then Lucifer gets mad because God was hit by the colonel. And then Lucifer turns into devil mode, showing his devil face. And he actually has Colonel O'Brien picked up like that. And then God tells Lucifer to put the human down. And then God doesn't remember where his powers are. So now without his powers, he has Alzheimer's apparently. And then focus. Where are your powers? God asks Lucifer about the face that he made. Trixie arrives at the penthouse, kicks Lucifer in the shin. She looked inside her heart, like Dr. Linda said, and here's what I realized. Your hair is stupid, and your jokes are immature. What kind of person puts a bar that big inside their house? My hair is majestic, and you know it. Lucifer bans Trixie from the penthouse for 1 month to show her that he can be responsible and show responsibility. Time to make the miniature hooligan, or time to take the miniature hooligan to her father. Lucifer wanted God's help with this, but God is passed out because they were drinking. Chloe is questioning Colonel O'Brien. She's not scared of Chloe's half-baked accusations, and Chloe calls Colonel O'Brien's mom, and this causes her to tell her to hang up the phone, and she tries to cooperate and give them as much information as she knows. Maze is complaining. Maze wants to come with Amenadiel to go see God at Lucifer's penthouse. God has left and is looking for his powers. Chloe says to Lucifer, thanks for bringing Trixie back. Lucifer mentions that she should be, she could have a football career due to her kicking abilities, because that kick to the shin, I'm guessing, kicker. And then Chloe and Lucifer go to see Kristoff, the person that Colonel O'Brien had mentioned. Tell me, Kristoff, what is it that you desire? He wants more YSD. That's the drug that supposedly was in Albert Walcott's system. And he says what it does is it steadies the hand as he takes it himself, but he takes a very, a safe dosage where it won't affect anything and won't make him, crazy. And then Chloe thinks that Walcott may have went to the hospital looking for records and not drugs. Lucifer has to find Father, and so he can't help Chloe at the hospital. Trixie actually finds God. Dr. Porter is about to perform a surgery. That's Catherine Dent's character. And Chloe knows that Dr. Porter killed Walcott. Dr. Porter actually uses the YSD as it helps with her hands. She has issues with her hand, and she, has to cut people open and stuff, and people shake like that. Some people. And then Dr. Porter is arrested. This kind of was anticlimactic. Like, there wasn't much to Dr. Porter. There wasn't much mystery to it. And then Trixie asks God why he's running away, and God says that he really messed up. Trixie is mad at Lucifer as he ran off to Florida without even telling her, saying goodbye. And then God says he's not sure he got it all right when he was raising Lucifer. Now, Maze is watching this from afar. Trixie says she thinks it's time to go home. Amenadiel tells Lucifer he's not forcing God to do anything. God left his powers with Charlie as he knew it would be safe with family. And then God arrives at Lux and tells Maze, thank you for not killing me. And then God tells Maze miracles happen every day. And I'm not sure at this point, did Maze get a soul or something? I'm not exactly sure. Dan tells God he slept with his wife and he can't change that. And God says he wasn't the best husband. And thanks Dan for what he did, because Charlotte, or Goddess, really liked Dan. And then Trixie tells Chloe she knows grown-ups make mistakes too, and she forgives Chloe. She apologizes for what she did at school with the whole handcuffing the student. And then Trixie tells Mom, or Mom doesn't always feel so strong inside. Or I should say Chloe tells Trixie that Mom doesn't feel so strong inside. And then things between Lucifer and myself are a little up in the air right now. She doesn't know, and that's a little scary, like what's going to be the end result of all that. No matter what happens, Trixie, me and your dad will always be your parents, and we will always love you no matter what. And then we have God telling Lucifer and Amenadiel that Lucifer was right. Truth is, he's been slipping for quite a while. I think it's time for me to retire, and that's what ends this episode of Lucifer. So, a decent episode. I mean, it's not season 4, and there's no Eve, so I'll score it an 8.3 out of 10. That may seem low to some of you, but hey, you know, it is what it is. It's just some of these episodes drag, and I think they could cut like 5 to 10 minutes out of each episode, and it would be more entertaining, but then you would lose some important details. So, yeah, I'm going to go with 8.3 out of 10. And for my characters of the episode, I'm going to give it, for the ladies, I'm going to give Trixie the character of the episode. Especially when she gets a lot of scenes like she did in this episode, she steals the show. Ella got like one scene in this episode, maybe more than that, but she usually does that when she's on the screen for a long period. And then for the males, I'm going to give the character of the episode to God, Father, Dad, whatever you want to call him. So you've heard everything that I had to say. Now it's your turn. If you're a fan of Lucifer and you want to help me out with the YouTube algorithm, please consider Hulk smashing the like button. And keep in mind, Lucifer is not the only thing that I cover on this channel. I do a plethora of things. I have a playlist. If you go to my channel tab, you can check my playlist out. I do Breaking Bad stuff. I do Walking Dead stuff. I do UFC fight reaction, Big Bang Theory, Shameless, back in the day, Dexter, and I love to talk about Dexter and many other things. So check out that playlist. Share the video with a friend. Put this video on any one of your social media platforms. Don't forget to sound off in the comment section and discuss this episode with me and the legendary Crazy Coffee Man. What would you rate the episode? Who would be your male? Who would be your female character of the episode? Or if you just want to do one, that's quite all right. And then the last, but certainly not least, don't forget to hit that sub button. You're watching the video anyway. Subscribe to the channel, join the team, show your damn support, and be a part of something special. And you never know what you're going to see on JDev TV.